Today is Tuesday, May 6th, and this is another update on my progress of beating the S&P 500 along with Bill Ackman's Pershing Square holdings. I do make these videos every Tuesday and Sunday, so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. As a reminder, this week we do have Jerome Powell's Fed meeting on Wednesday along with initial jobless claims on Thursday. In the last update, we did check out the next three Fed meetings and the probability for there being a rate cut, and tomorrow's meeting was essentially a lock for not having a rate cut. There is a possibility for one at the June meeting, but it's not going to be until the July meeting that we actually have a good chance of getting one. So hopefully the stuff that he talks about tomorrow sort of further indicates that we will get a rate cut in July. If we take a look at the VIX chart, you'll see where the blue arrow is represents April 25th. And up until last Friday, it had gone down every single day except for two. So we definitely had a pretty good streak going on. I do still believe that it's going to cross below the top level of this normal trading range. So I'm certainly not concerned, especially where it hasn't gone up that much over the last 2 days. And considering that we were trading all the way up here just a month ago, we've definitely made a lot of progress. So by looking at the chart, I noticed that where this level is pretty much right where this level is over here. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to place a resistance level, and I'm going to use that as a measurement for how far the VIX can go up before I start to get concerned. So if the VIX continues to go up, but it doesn't quite reach the top of that level and go through it and then further declines, that would be a bullish signal and a good thing. But if the VIX starts to climb and then eventually reaches above it, that's going to be an area of concern. So we'll check back on this on the next update and see where it's at. And if we take a look at the SPY chart, as I alluded to previously, the market has gone down the previous 2 days. And where the SPY price sits right now is directly where the 5-day moving average is. But both the SPY price and the 5-day still sit above the 15. Over the last 2 weeks, the S&P 500 has pretty much gone up every single day. So a little pullback to the 5-day is definitely expected. And if the markets do rally from here, this will create the second new higher low, further indicating that we are actually heading back into another bull market. And if we put back in the longer term green trend line, you'll see that's exactly where the SPY price closed at today. So it does look like a pretty good setup if we are able to bounce off of it. And anything positive at all that Jerome Powell says could definitely cause this to happen. And of course, that was just one scenario. Jerome Powell could very easily end up saying something that spooks the markets. But I do think that it's more likely that he says positive stuff rather than negative. I put in the nearest support level just in case we do end up dropping. And from where we are right now, that would be about a 3.42% drop. And this is the resistance level that we closed exactly at on Friday. And from where we are right now, it would only need a 1.48% gain to get back there. So I do think that there's a far better chance of getting above this resistance level rather than dropping all the way down to this support level, which is why I'm still bullish on the markets. These are going to be all 14 of my current positions. Right now, Microsoft, Meta, Welltower, Costco, and Nvidia make up my top 5, and those make up 44.11% of my portfolio. Palantir did report their earnings after the bell on Monday. They reported great earnings, but the stock did fall 12.05% today. I was tempted to increase my position last week when it got above 40% gains, but I decided not to just because of how volatile it is. And this would be a perfect example. They had great earnings and it still fell over 12%. I now do plan on adding more to that position at some point over the next few days. Since I would overall like to stay above 5% cash, right now I have 5.34, so what I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing is trimming some of my PayPal position, which right now sits at a 17.57% loss, because I could see Palantir way outperforming PayPal over the next month or two. And with a 7.46 weighting currently for PayPal, that could definitely be notched down a little bit. So right now I do have 94.66% of my portfolio invested, and like I mentioned earlier, I do have 5.34% sitting in cash. Since Monday, my portfolio had a loss of 1.84%, Pershing Square had a loss of 0.19, and the S&P 500 saw a loss of 1.4, which brings us year to date. My portfolio currently has a gain of 1.13, Pershing Square is at a loss of 0.49, and the S&P 500 is at a loss of 4.46. That's going to do it for today. I do make these videos every Tuesday and Sunday, so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on Sunday.